you'll have to explain this one to me.
Yeah.
Wrong couple divorced after a computer error, but this is by the law firm Vardags. Now, let me read through carefully because I'm not sure I quite get it. A couple were divorced by mistake after a computer error at a family law firm. Apparently, a staff member at Vardags accidentally opened a file of a couple referred to in court as Mr. and Mrs. Williams when trying to apply for a final divorce for a different client. Now, 3 days later, this Vardags tried to rescind the order, but Judge Sir Andrew McFarlane dismissed the application. So hang on. They were meant to be divorcing Mr. and Mrs. Williams. No, they divorced Mr. and Mrs. Williams instead of Mr. and Mrs. whoever. Is that right? And once they've done that, too bad, mate. It's stuck, even though you divorced the wrong couple.
Yeah, and there's a very happy ex-husband at the end of this as a result who's benefited substantially. Let me explain some of the context here. So Vardags, that's the law firm. And let me say, first of all, they're the ones to go for divorce. Not said by me, said by them, because they're great great self-promoter. Proudly, they say on their website, we serve bankers, footballers, celebrities, even royalty. It's great for their business and all very aspirational. But you know what? If you make a mistake, especially a massive blunder, you'll be in for bigger trouble because those categories of people know how to sue you. And when you make a mistake affecting them, the numbers will be big. So you know, in this case, they've accidentally granted or applied to grant a divorce to the opposing side's client, who was a husband. They were representing the wife. That was to the detriment, apparently, of their own client, to the advantage of the very happily ex-husband. So what did they do? Well, I think first of all, they probably panicked. And when they got back from the hospital from the heart attack, they immediately tried to get it set aside at a county court without telling the other side's solicitors, saying it was just an administrative mistake. They said the mistake was the equivalent of just pushing the wrong button. Now they were able to actually persuade a district judge in the county court or the low-level family court to do this. But that husband's solicitors said, no way, I've got my divorce. I'm going to the High Court to appeal. And the High Court said, maybe this is the wrong outcome, but you don't appeal to us. You sue your lawyers who made the mistake for negligence. A divorce is a divorce if it was properly carried out. Trisha.
So hang on. So the husband stood together. They accidentally divorced the wrong couple. And the case in which they made the accident, as I understand it, and correct me if I'm wrong, the wife was who they represented was kind of holding out for more money and said, I'm not going to go sign the final papers until I get this, and this. They accidentally pressed the wrong button. Husband said gets divorced. And he's like, yippee, I don't have to cough up. It's all been made final.
Yeah. Well, I'm not saying that I was in the case, and I haven't read the judgment in detail. I've read press summary of the judgment. Now, or I've read a summary of the judgment. I don't know what the ins and outs were with regard to the detriment, but this case would not be going to court if the situation was advantageous to the client of Vardags. I think that goes without saying. They certainly wouldn't have rushed off 2 days later to the county court to get it undone if what they'd done was what they wanted to do. And the presumption, because the judge says you can sue them for negligence, you can't undo the divorce, is that certainly the judge takes the view that prima facie has been made a mistake.
So it's online, and you're saying that if your lawyer, not talking about Vardags, and a lawyer accidentally presses the wrong button, you could get divorced by accident.
Well, listen, if I write to the court and say to my client will be pleading guilty and here's why, and divulge a load of confidential information by mistake, it's still a mistake, whether it's on the basis of a button or an email I've mistakenly sent, or telling them that because I've completely lost my marbles. Either way, it's a mistake. And I'm sympathetic because law firms can make mistakes. We're dealing with high stakes stuff, but at the same time, we're frail and human like any other human being. But when you hold yourself out as the best, and that's what Vardags do, you have to be ready for the attention that something like this creates. They say on their website they are Britain's top divorce lawyer on the homepage, but a blunder like this damages the brand. And the problem is, if you fly that close to the sun, you better get used to the idea of the possibility that wax holding those wings together might melt, drop off, and you come plummeting down. Let's hope that it's okay for Vardags, because they're very well respected. But this is, I suspect, a bit of a low moment.